Okay. Awesome. We're dipping into my Criterion collection with My Darling Clementine.
Oh my darling, oh my darling, oh my darling Clementine, you were lost and gone forever. Dreadful sorry, Clementine.
Every time I hear it, though, I think of that cartoon dog, Huckleberry Hound. The 1946 film My Darling Clementine is one of the best westerns of all time. And why wouldn't it be? It's directed by John Ford and stars Henry Fonda in one of his good guy roles. Fonda has a history of playing either really good guys or really bad guys in westerns, but no need to fear, he's a good guy in this one. He actually portrays Wyatt Earp. That's right, the Wyatt Earp. Victor Mature plays Doc Holliday, who actually was a doctor. He was a dentist. I always thought Doc was just a nickname they gave him, but no, he was an actual doctor. Before I saw My Darling Clementine, I didn't know that much about the gunfight at the OK Corral. I have never seen Tombstone with Val Kilmer or Kurt Russell, and my knowledge of the Wild West is quite limited. My Darling Clementine also stars Linda Darnell, who is in brownface, unfortunately, as a Latin woman named
Chihuahua. I'm Doc Holliday's girl.
But I'm just going to gloss right over that. You really can't tell that she's portraying a woman of color because the film is in black and white, but that doesn't make it any less unacceptable. But it was in the past, and it was common for the time to have white actors portray characters of color and other ethnicities. The best we can do now is learn from it and try not to do it again, although it does still happen today, unfortunately. However, Linda Darnell did have a great grandparent that was Cherokee Indian. The film also stars Walter Brennan in one of his villain roles. He portrays Newman Haynes Clayton. Although the movie is a fantastic western with great desert landscapes, fun costumes, and effective production design, there is a continuity issue right from the beginning of the film. The events of the film take place in 1882 when the gunfight at the OK Corral happened in 1881. But that's no big deal. A lot of great movies have continuity issues. Have you seen the October calendar in Donnie Darko? Wyatt Earp takes it upon himself to bring law and order to the town of Tombstone after his younger brother is murdered. As he spends his time in Tombstone, events ultimately lead up to the gunfight at the OK Corral. This movie came out in 1946. There was another movie released in 1957 called Gunfight at the OK Corral, starring Burt Lancaster as Wyatt Earp and Kirk Douglas as Doc Holliday. And then there was the 1993 film Tombstone that I mentioned earlier. So the gunfight at the OK Corral has gone down as a legend of the Old West. What I found so fascinating about the portrayal of the gunfight in Clementine was that it all took place in less than a minute. I felt a little cheated. I thought that's what the movie was leading up to. That was John Ford's take on the gunfight at the OK Corral. But I was wrong to be mildly outraged because I did some research and the actual gunfight happened on October 26, 1981, and the whole thing lasted less than 1 minute. It just boggles the mind that something that took place in under a minute became the embodiment of the Old West. Although the gunfight was real, the rest of the film is a heavily fictionalized account of the lives of real people. In the film, there is a Clementine, but in all actuality, there was no Clementine. I cannot bore you with all the dramatic liberties that were taken. Some of the characters that were present for the gunfight at the end had actually died before the gunfight. I could go on. Some fun behind the scenes trivia to My Darling Clementine is that while director John Ford was in his youth, he actually met the real Wyatt Earp. I thought that was interesting. They met through actor Harry Carey, who was nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Another interesting fact was that Walter Brennan vowed to never work with John Ford ever again after Ford berated Brennan for not being able to mount a horse. Then Brennan, like a total male diva, shot back saying, "But I got 3 Oscars for acting." I thought I'd reveal a sad piece of trivia for last, just because if you've ever seen the disturbing 2014 David Cronenberg film Maps to the Stars starring Julianne Moore, then you may have picked up on the recurring theme of celebrity deaths by either fire or water. I mention it because it seems to be true. So many famous people either drown or burn to death. And poor Linda Darnell, who was arguably the more supporting of the 2 supporting female roles in My Darling Clementine, died in a house fire on April 10th, 1965.
Fire and water. We're fire and he's water. Say goodbye. Bye. Na, na, na.
Over 90% of her body was burned. No one knows how the fire started. No one deserves to die that way. It was tragic. She was a fun actress. I liked her. I recommend looking into her body of work. I believe her most famous role was A Letter to 3 Wives. As of May 17th, 2025, My Darling Clementine is not available for streaming unless you purchase it. On physical media, it has been released on Blu-ray by the Criterion Collection.